Hi there, this is Solitaire Ronin from Solitaire Ronin Films, and welcome to this video where I shall explain why Flash Gordon is better than any Star Wars film. Granted, I will see your abusive comments down below, but it's just my opinion. Let me first of all say that as a child I was a big Star Wars fan. I still have a box full of action figures. As you can tell from my age, the original action figures, not the new ones. But as I grew to appreciate films and what great films are, personally for me, you just get to the point where you realise Star Wars aren't great films. I think there's a lot of nostalgia when people think about them, but for me they're just 3 out of 5 star films, whereas Mike Hodges' Flash Gordon from 1980 is a masterpiece. And yes, you might be laughing right now, but deep down inside you know I speak the truth. I'm not going to sit and bash Star Wars, it is what it is, but just for me, none of the films are as good as Flash Gordon. Now certainly without Star Wars, Flash Gordon would probably never have been made. Like I said, this 1980, Mike Hodges. This version has an interview with Mike Hodges and a really brilliant commentary with Mike Hodges, where he says he doesn't really like science fiction, he doesn't like Spielberg films, so I'm certainly in agreement with that. Obviously this is a remake essentially of the old Buster Crabbe black and white serials with the cliffhanger at the end of each episode, which I remember watching, obviously not originally, I'm not that old, but on Saturday mornings. But I mean, this is just, it's a wonderful film. Now the first time I saw it is on the television, and it is cut when it's on the television, even though it is a PG. But it's not really a film for kids. There's a lot of subtext going on, and it is rather naughty in places. I'm quite surprised they managed to actually get a PG, but I suppose originally the Star Wars films were U certificates and they had genocide and lots of death in them, including the aunt and uncle who get vaporised and burned alive. But anyway, sorry, Flash Gordon. I'm going to get distracted down the Star Wars route. I'm just going to point out a few things that personally for me make Flash Gordon the superior film. And yes, I am being serious about this. This is deadly serious. I don't own any of the Star Wars films on Blu-ray. Yeah, you might have to sit down for this video. It was going to come as a shock to you. First of all, the cast. I mean, you just have to start with Ming the Merciless, played by Max von Sydow. And he treats it, you can see he's obviously having fun, he's got a glint in his eye, but he's treating it as seriously as he would a Bergman film, and that's what makes his Ming one of the greatest cinema villains of all time, and it's never talked about. You know, when people are talking about screen villains, Max von Sydow never gets a mention in Flash Gordon. And I hope to change that. I just think he's better than Darth Vader. I mean, Darth Vader's good, but Darth Vader has a boss. Darth Vader's not even the top of the food chain, whereas Ming is an emperor, so Ming is his own boss. He doesn't take orders from anybody. Max von Sydow plays it, like I said, as though it was a Bergman film. He has wonderful mannerisms, even just his clenching of his fist in such a amazing way. He has a droll sense of humour. While somebody's being tortured, he's standing behind the screen watching, eating grapes. He just plays this wonderful, with a fantastic sadistic glee about his performance. And it's absolutely fantastic. So that's one advantage it has. Two is it was directed by an actual director, Mike Hodges, who did Pulp and The Terminal Man, and also Morons from Outer Space, the Smith and Jones comedy, which is a bizarre film. And as we know, George Lucas isn't a great director, even though the film I do have is THX 1138 is a really nice wee film, but sadly he's never kind of done anything as good as that. Thirdly, the pairing of Dale Arden, played by Melody Anderson, and Princess Aura with Ornella Muti are way naughtier than Princess Leia, who is obviously tougher and can handle herself and is wearing virginal white, whereas Princess Aura and Dale Arden don't wear white at all in this film. They wear not a lot, quite a lot of the time. Flash Gordon, played by Sam Jones, he's the weakest link. But then Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars film is a bit of a vacuum as well, because let's be honest, when we played Star Wars as kids, nobody really wanted to play Luke Skywalker, they all wanted to be Han Solo. I do think if one of the auditions went the other way, Christopher Walken would have made the Han Solo character and the whole Star Wars franchise something completely different. And then I would have them on Blu-ray, because he did audition for that role, as amazing as that seems. Yeah. The special effects, I will give Star Wars credit on that one. One thing about Blu-ray, it does expose matte work sometimes. So the special effects in Flash Gordon maybe aren't as impressive as Star Wars. But the production design in Flash Gordon and the costumes are just amazing. Ming's Palace with the reds and gold, all the different tribes from the different areas of Mongo. Yes, because when you're discussing Flash Gordon, it's the only time it is politically correct to say the word Mongo. So the Arborians with their greens, and also the Voltans, bird people. Their palace in the sky is fantastic as well. It's all silvery, and then you get to the supporting cast. Topol as Heinz Zarkov is fantastic. Timothy Dalton, pre-Bond, as Prince Baron, who has the brilliant line, "Freeze, you bloody bastards," which was always cut out when you watched it on TV. And Brian Blessed gives a performance for the ages as Voltan. So subtle, so delicate, just a wonderful performance. Yes! And Richard O'Brien, the creator of Rocky Horror Picture Show's in there as a panpipe playing Arborian. And Peter Duncan from the British kids programme Blue Peter, a victim of the Stump monster, the trial by Stump that Arborians go through, their initiation to becoming a man. I mean, it's just so good. It flies by. On that sort of thing, Queen versus John Williams. Queen wins. I'm not the biggest John Williams fan. He's pretty low down the list for me as far as composers. Behind Ennio Morricone, of course, and Angelo Badalamenti, Zbigniew Preisner, Joe Hisaishi, Michael Dana. I mean, obviously he's a very good composer, but I'm sorry, but Queen beats him just for an awesome soundtrack. This is way more fun, and sadly there never was a sequel, because I don't think it actually did that well at the box office. But it's a brilliant film. It's absolutely brilliant. We forgot Robbie Coltrane's in it briefly at the start, when Dale Arden and Flash Gordon take the plane ride, which is one of the things that Ming controls as he does a little test run on Earth. I think you all know the story and you've probably all seen the film, but it should really get more love because it's a masterpiece. And again, I'm saying this in all seriousness. Just the black humour, Clytus, who I've forgotten up to now, Clytus, I mean, one of the greatest evil sidekicks of all time. His droll sense of humour, when they're wiping Zarkov's brain and there's a clip of Hitler and he says, now he showed promise. There's a great quip about Flash declining his last meal and Clytus saying the cook will be disappointed. Just played by Peter Wingard, again having the time of his life. Just fantastic. The whole kind of sadistic, fascist kind of outfits that Ming's underlings wear as well. Like I said, the production design and the costumes are just amazing. Is it as influential as Star Wars? No. Again, like I said, without Star Wars it wouldn't have been made. But I think it stands the test of time. Better than Star Wars. It's a better made film. It's a better acted film. I mean, like I said, Brian Blessed with a subtle performance. I'm glad in some levels it hasn't been remade. I'm surprised it hasn't, but I'm glad it hasn't. Because they would just do a terrible job. So that's really it. I hope these reasons why Flash Gordon's better than any Star Wars film ever made was interesting to you and makes you maybe think a little bit. Yes, I am a contrarian, so if everybody loves a film, I'm immediately suspicious. But like I said, Star Wars are nice little films, they're good films, but they're not the masterpieces that people seem to think they are, and the kind of high bar for the highest films can get or something. It's just ludicrous. And Flash Gordon is definitely a film that deserves a bit more credit. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I didn't offend too many people. or upset too many people with this statement, please leave the comments below. Try not to be too abusive, and we'll see you again. This is Solitary Ronin saying thank you very much for watching, however difficult it was for you Star Wars fans out there, and hopefully we'll see you again.